Welcome to the High Performance Man podcast. I am your host, John Fayocavitz. On this show, I interview successful men who have built impressive careers and businesses, founders, CEOs, senior leaders, and professionals who have operated at a high level for years. We talk about what actually made them successful. So the goal is simple: to learn directly from men who have done it so we can apply those insights into our own careers, businesses, and lives and continue raising our own standard of performance. The show is brought to you and sponsored by Prime Performance Method. The Prime Performance Method is designed specifically for high performing men who have achieved success in their careers but feel like their body and energy have taken a hit along the way. We help busy professional men regain strength, lose weight, and feel younger within weeks without long workouts, extreme dieting, and disrupting their demanding schedule. If you are a high performing man who wants to feel strong and energized as you are successful, please message me, John Kavitz, on LinkedIn. On today's show, we have Alan Kadish, who is Dr. Alan Kadish. Let me put that, okay, who is the CEO, COO of Expert Scale Incorporated, as well as Investormatch.ai, where he brings multidimensional perspective to the intersection of medicine, technology, and commerce. Alan, thank you so much for joining us today. It's a pleasure.
Likewise, John.
Okay, let's get started with our first question. What's the most important lesson you have learned so far that's helped you become successful in your business? Now, it's businesses.
Yes, it is. Listen,
Listen.
zip it and listen. Before you assume, before you jump, just listen. What's going on? Take a essay. Hear what's going around you, what's really being said as opposed to necessarily the verbiage, and move in that direction appropriately.
Well, it's great. Listen, yes, my goodness. Yeah, we seem to be not doing a lot of that, do we?
That's the exception to the rule.
Yes, it is. How many years have you been a doctor? And what kind of doctor are you?
I'm a naturopathic medical doctor. I have been working for 42 years in multiple states where I'm licensed, and our primary practice is a combination of autoimmune neurodegenerative disorders. Subspecialty is ASD and PDD, which is your autistic group, as well as the pervasive developmental delay individuals. Those are my primary, but not exclusively. It's generally someone who's seen multiple physicians, they don't know or don't have an answer, and or they aren't getting where they need to go. That's who I see primarily.
Awesome. And I would say that you're probably the most successful physicians, just like you just said, are ones that listen to their patients.
Well, that's, the fellow who was my mentor, an absolutely stellar physician, John Bastier, he literally would sit down and not say a whole lot, ask a simple question. What brings you here today? That was his sole question. I mean, unlike a typical intake where you get the 50 questions, are you depressed? Have you experienced pain? What brings you here today was his initial starting point. And by listening carefully, he did so much better a job of evaluating the patients that it just made total sense. And unfortunately, that's not what happens in today's medicine for most people,
Right.
because they don't have that opportunity time-wise. And no, I don't care whether you're from New York or wherever, you can only talk so quickly, but you have to listen. And people need to give you the details.
You're right. Because, my experience alone, just recently, I changed physicians. And that's the first, they went down a list of things like this. Do you have that? Do you have this? Do you have this? And nothing about how you doing or how you feeling.
Right. Right. So and let's be very, very clear and upfront. Medicine is money. It has nothing to do with your health, generally speaking. That just happens to be the sidekick of pieces. To do really good medicine, unfortunately, takes time. And as everybody's aware, time and HR, it's an incompatibility and it's expensive and nobody wants to pay for it. Everybody wants quality care, but at a cost perspective that just isn't part of how the system's organized.
Okay. Now, your businesses that you mentioned that I mentioned in the introduction, they're
Expert scale and investor match.
yeah,
Yes.
what are they?
So let's talk about expert scale. I'm really excited. And this will apply to you specifically, John, because you mentioned your coaching.
Mm-hmm.
There are multiple levels within computational abilities today. You've got people making bots, you've got people making agents, and then you have real agentic AI. Agentic AI is based on the concept that you actually have some computational thinking as opposed to just repeating some bit of information that you've given a dialogue and a database.
Right.
So at expert scale, we've made, and I know my co-founder doesn't love this term, but I personally like it only because it's easy to convey. We make digital doubles. We call them proteges. But here's the
Okay.
differential. Anyone can put together a bot or an agent. That's simple. These days, no big deal. But here's the catch. Is it seriously embodying the reality of your ability to make a good decision? Gee, I have all this data set. That's great. But you and I both know, especially as someone who's been in business for any length of time, the real key is tacit information. When to
Mm-hmm.
say yes, when to say no. Oh, by the way, that's interesting, but did you know there's another opportunity or another potential? Could you pivot? Uh, It's that real wisdom that is really lost when we talk about agents and bots.
Right.
What we're doing at Expert Scale, we do a digital interview of approximately an hour or so of that individual. Our group is targeted towards high trust professionals because just to get this right out of the way up front, we guarantee 100% nil hallucination, period. Now you're probably going, wait, 100%? Yes. It's inevitably a piece that we saw as one of the linchpins of making this successful. So,
Wow.
as an example, whether you're an attorney, a physician, a professional like yourself who wants to make certain that they give great information, not just
Right.
repeating some database bit of nonsense, you want wisdom to be the created piece. So, we do a 1 hour digital interview, which gets you about 50% fidelity. But as you told me when we started this conversation, you've got written materials, you've got lots of opportunity that you've spoken to others and maybe recorded many of those.
Mm-hmm.
You can take all of that, drop it into the system, and ingest that as part and parcel of getting that fidelity all the way up to 80 to 90%. Now,
Wow.
most people are, of course, skeptical. And I want to make sure that in our conversation with several listening, I
Yep.
encourage your skepticism. Go to a friggin' demo. Don't take my word for it. Or better yet, go and it's free. Go and have a session with one of our experts. And for small businesses, I do pitch coaching. Do a free session. Go do a pitch. I'll give you the good, the bad, the ugly, and some suggestion. It's free. If you like what you hear, then you can engage us further. If you don't, no harm, no foul.
No follow.
Now, other people are using us as an example. We have a number of large companies that you and I both know that at some point people walk away from their job, either because of age, because of health, or they expire. It happens. Well, I'm sure anyone listening to this who has been involved in any size business knows there's that one key person who knows where, how to find this. Why did we do this? Where do you get? And everybody calls that individual trying to get hey, I don't know where to do this. Can you help me? Of course they can. They're going to no longer be part and parcel of your organization. Now, with a protege, you can encapsulate their information and have it on tap with it because this is interactive conversation. This is not ask me a simple question, I give you an answer. No,
Yeah.
ask me the question and I'll respond by asking you the rest of the details to get contextually appropriate. And then I can give you the answer that really works. When I said the 100% no hallucination guarantee, what happens if it's something they don't know? As an example with your protege, it refers to you directly and says, hey, don't have the details for that information, but I will refer you to our human. No problem. So
That's great.
that's what expert scale is about. The nice part is, as an example, with that individual who knows where, who, what, where, and whys, now you have a digital format that you're, as an example, junior engineer. We've got a group of engineering
Right.
organizations, and now they can, instead of taking a senior's time and interrupting his or her flow, they now can actually go to a digital organizational piece consistently, and they get the answer that they need.
Wow.
They're not
That's
interrupted.
great.
A couple of
Because
things that people always ask, so I'll just put it up front. None of this information that you provide ever touches a public LLM. It is all yours, period. No maybes, ifs, ands, or buts. We can do intranets or extranets. It can be within your own organization, and everything is encrypted. We use a multi-layered security methodology to absolutely assure any of our
that's
clientele.
awesome. So
Your
what you
stuff is
really,
yours, period.
so what it's you're adding almost like a human element then.
Think about this. You have all of this amazing information that you've accumulated over decades. You can also ask your own protege for assistance, because think about the great pieces, computationally speaking, pattern recognition. I don't care how smart you are or who you are. You don't remember everything. It's not possible. But now you can actually have a database and an interactive conversation that can make
Right.
you much more literally amplify your expertise. That's one example. And I can
Wow.
go on with example
Right.
after example. For
Okay.
someone who's a coach, hey, you're now available 24/7. You can have a reduced rate on our platform. As an example, let's say you are a coach or a
Yep.
professional giving executive information or whatever. You just set it up so that they, on a minute to minute basis, pay you whatever fee. You set the fee. We do a rev share, 70% to you, 30% to us. That's one option. In the companies we spoke of, they actually do this internally, and it's just a set fee for utilization and setup. It
Wow.
allows them to literally have multiple proteges. So let's say somebody's in regulatory aspects, someone is in go-to-markets strategy, or whatever may be the case,
Right.
depending on the business. You can have multiple proteges, and now none of your junior staff have an excuse to really interrupt the senior person, who really now can focus on what they do best. And
Wow.
when they leave, they haven't really left. Their information and their expertise is still present.
That's man, that is interesting, man. My audience can eat this up. That
It's
was
way
awesome.
cool. It's been fun. I mean, working with my co-founder Drew Harris has been a delight. And
Great.
every time we turn around, there's a new application that somebody hits us and says, have you thought about, oh my goodness, you're
You
right.
know.
Absolutely. Why wouldn't we want that expertise to remain available, scalable? Because that's the other
Right.
piece for someone like yourself. You can only get on the phone and talk to one person at a time to be really focused.
Right.
We have a wonderful author who has 27 books. She's been on everywhere from A to Z, Karen Simmons. She works in the autism spectrum disorder area of her knowledge bank. And what she does is she has people upload their IEP, their child's information set, and then her digital piece, in this case her protege, ingests it, makes sure that there's no PII, no personal information, it's all stripped, and then has a conversation with them,
Wow.
absolutely focused on what are their needs. Digitally, she's making money while she sleeps, literally,
Right.
and she's really delivering value that's substantial to people who couldn't
That's
afford to
awesome.
otherwise.
Great. Alan. Great. Great. Wow. My next question. What do you think hinders a lot of men today from reaching their full potential?
You got to believe in yourself.
Okay.
Um, I say shoot for the stars. What's the worst case scenario? You trip and fall a couple of times. Maybe you don't get to the stars, but you get halfway there.
Right.
Um, Go for it. I really think that, and I've been s- becoming more of a fan of the 10x approach. Just go for it. Knock
Right.
yourself silly.
Well,
You're going to fail in certain ways.
I'm just going to say failures are part of life.
It's the way it works.
And if you treat them as a growing thing instead of a negative thing, you turn that positive. You know what I mean? Instead of
Mhm.
saying, I quit after failure. Well, I go back and we have had some conversation with other podcasters. Steve Jobs and all these guys that are multi-billionaires. They didn't quit. You know what I mean? They just kept pounding it and pounding it and pounding it, and it just hit. So
Well, I think there's four criteria for me as an investor that I look for in entrepreneurs. And this is the same as it's success based.
mhm,
Are you persistent? Are you consistent? Do you have fire in your belly? And are you coachable? If you have those
great.
four criteria, then you've got at least my attention, and I may be happy to turn you on to others because you'll
Right,
meet their criteria as well.
right. Do we go to that expert scale? Is that .com?
You can get it's AI.ai.
.ai. Okay.
So expertscale.ai, and the actual product is Apex Replicant, and you can go to .com or AI, either one. But
Okay.
just go to Expert Scale. It'll lead you where you want to
It'll lead me
go.
where I need to go.
But
Okay.
if you're an
Awesome.
author, if you're thinking, I've got this book, I got this coursework, but there's a big difference between my 20-buck book and my thousands of dollars courses. What do I do in between? Expert Scale. You can service lots more folks with quality, integrity, authentically, without having to make that jump between spend thousands for my course or read my book.
Wow.
There's
Awesome.
one great example for people listening to this that may be very applicable. And if you got that business where people are starting to think about retirement, catch them now. Catch them now. Don't wait till they're gone. They're not going to answer the phone when they're out in the middle of lake fishing. Forget it.
No, no, you got that right. I'll tell you, I'm going to take a look at it and take a peek. And I'm sure
Great.
I'm sure some people in the listening is going to take a peek too. So,
Please do. Please do. And
uh,
again, we're easy to get a hold of. We're happy to have a conversation with you. And if you've got
okay.
a unique circumstance, let us know. I mean, I can go and tell you all sorts of crazy applications that people are using us in their businesses as well as personally.
Right.
But you might have a really unique idea, and I'd love to hear it.
Okay. Awesome, Alan. Great. My next question. For most men on the road to business or professional success, other areas of their life get sacrificed. What's been one area of your life that has suffered, if there has been, but where would you like to be successful now too? Is there somewhere that you would want to be?
So, admittedly, upfront, I'm not the most organized. I wish I had much more organizational skill set. Yes, I can talk agile, I can talk all sorts of things, but I'm looking at my desk when you asked me that question, John. It's messy. I'm messy. That's who I am. I don't
Right.
believe that, and my wife tries diligently to get me organized because she is the organized person. Everything's labeled, it's in the right spot, etc. I'm messy, and I don't think in my lifetime, in fact, I know in my lifetime I'll never be otherwise. Could I do better and have more time efficiency? Sure, sure. Am I recognizing that maybe that's just not me? Yeah, yeah. I'll go with the flow. Will I allow her to interface and try to get it better? Sure. Will it ever be at her level? Oh, goodness, no, no.
Right. Okay.
So
Well,
that is part of the sacrifice.
okay.
Um, and as you and I spoke earlier before we got on this recorded area, I'm involved in a lot of different areas of both technology as well as just interaction with people, and it takes a lot of time. It just does.
Right. Is there anywhere? Well, I have my second part of that question. Is there somewhere you'd like to be successful now? at something or somewhere or something
Well, I am
area?
some, I guess,
Because you do so, you have so many hats right now. Is that I'm
well,
sure.
we just got another 1 year extension on our synthetic biology project grant from New Zealand.
Oh
I'm
gosh,
really excited about that. We've got, and anybody who's more biologically oriented will know what I'm about to say. We've got a phosphodiesterase product that is grass and non-toxic. I'd like to see it used both DoD as well as in agriculture for remediation.
great,
I love playing doctor. It's just you get to be a detective. For me, it's
right,
just a wonderful opportunity to learn both not only about new diseases, but how they manifest and how you can actually have proactive interactions that really give people health.
right,
Their health index goes up and it puts a smile on my face. What else would I like to see? Well, with expert scale, I want to see this thing just kick butt, take numbers, and go for the moon. Because
great,
when you start using and you play with it, you realize, oh my goodness, this has so much potential to seriously amplify individuals' abilities and not only the value to a company, but even individually. You can do things
right,
that you could never have thought of. Um, with individual, what we've gotten for feedback, as an example, some of our experts have engaged their own expert and said, okay, here's where I'm going, here's what I'm doing, here's what's happening. Let's talk about possibilities. And given their prior mindset, it was amazing what they got in return. So
right.
who knows? I mean, I could go on with a list a
You could
mile
go
long.
on,
I mean, I wish there was more time in a day, but
right. That's awesome.
unfortunately, 24 hours is what we get, and that's reality.
Okay. My next question, and this is coming from, this is something you might have to think a little bit about. Okay. Where do you find yourself at peace?
Learning. No, it was an easy one. Learning. Teach me
That was right off the
something.
top of your head. My goodness.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I love learning. I don't really care whether it's medical, whether it's right now, I'm about to, when I leave this conversation, I'm about to go play with dirt in my backhoe. Um, Teach me how to use it better. Show me something that I've never seen before. Have a conversation that expands my belief system. It could be
Right.
anything. As long as I'm learning, I'm a happy camper. That's what drives me. Curiosity is an underlying theme.
Do you have any sort of a routine, a morning routine that's a non-negotiable?
Oh, non-negotiable?
Yes, where you gotta have
Nah,
it. Like,
nah. You know what? I wouldn't call it non-negotiable. I mean,
what do you have a
do I
routine
really
that,
like a good cup of organic coffee in the morning? Oh, heck yes.
there you go.
Does it have to be first thing in the morning? Well, I prefer it, but it's not non-negotiable. If there's something else cooking and there's no time, move on. Be
Okay.
flexible.
Okay, great. And my last question then, Alan, is this. If you were to give one piece of advice to other men that are starting their journey to achieving success, what would that be? Would it be
This is easy again. Find what you love. If you're going, and here I have a smiles per mile index. That's what I call it. If you get
mhm,
up in the morning, here's how you'll know where you're at the right place, right channel.
this is
Get
gonna
up
be
in the
awesome.
morning and you're going, OMG, oh, good golly, what am I doing here? You missed the boat. You're on the wrong track. Just cut your losses, move on. If, on the other hand, you get up in the morning and you can't wait to get wherever it is that you're going, and you're like, oh, this is great stuff. I got to get up earlier. I got to do more. Now we're tracking. Now you're starting
Right,
to get it. So I use the get up in the morning. You smiling? You frowning? What are you doing? On the other hand, during the day, do you have a lot of smiles? Or are you just like, oh, this is way cool? Oh, by the way, I lost track of time, etc. And not because you're
right.
forced to, but because you want to.
Want to.
And, there's the opportunities, especially today in our current circumstance, are so diverse, so often overlooked. Find what really puts a smile on your face. And I don't want to have anybody sit here and give me a hard time over, but it only makes X number of dollars. if you think about this, whether it's medically speaking or whether it's any other direction, emotionally, etc., don't look at it from the dollar sign. If you're doing something that really, really puts you into high gear, has you smiling regularly, you're at the right place. And you're
Right.
right, it may not make you a billionaire. So what? If
Yeah.
it makes you a happy camper and you're sitting there with a fulfilled sense of, I got to get up in the morning and kick some butt, take some
Right.
numbers, that's worth a whole lot more than making big bucks.
Absolutely. And it's like if I don't really have a job if I'm passionate about it.
It's your passion, not a job.
Right.
And I encourage anyone who's thinking about this, I realize that you may not hit the first piece, may not work well for you, the first job that you get. Okay, quit it, move on, move on.
Yeah.
You may not be able to find where you're headed for a lot of different time frames and experiences. It may take, I mean, at my age, I'm still not sure what I want to be when I grow up. I've got a lot of things I'd like to experience. But it's
Wow.
been a great ride.
Right.
Um, and it's done me well in all directions. So all good.
Beautiful. Well, Helen, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on the show. And I want to thank you
That's
so
it.
much for taking the time to be on. You've given us plenty to think about and to look up. Okay. Your insights were invaluable, and I appreciate it sharing that with our audience. Okay. Um, and as a reminder to everyone listening, this is brought to you by the Prime Performance Method, where we help high performing men rebuild strength, energy, and confidence without sacrificing their careers. If you're ready to feel as strong in your body as you are successful in your business, message me at John Fayocavitz on LinkedIn. Until our next episode, perform strong in all areas of your life.